It is so hard to find good puzzle games. They are usually either way too casual or really hard to solve even with the hints that the game gives you. But there is one game that really makes you think out of the box. Welcome to this review of Fate of Kai. This is a story-based puzzle game played on a comic book that is, first of all, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just look at it. But that's not what I like about it the most. My favorite thing about this game is that it hits a sweet spot in terms of difficulty that I think few puzzle games can. The puzzles are not straightforward at first, you need to think a little bit out of the box to be able to solve them, but they can all be figured out just based on the information provided by the game. And if you get stuck, the game will provide you with some hints in a very nice and subtle way. You will see what I mean by that in a moment. But before we really get into the gameplay itself, I would like to give a little spoiler warning. Because in this video I will discuss both the story of the first few chapters and the solutions to the puzzles in them. So if you want to check out the game for yourself, you will find a link in the description. Currently the full game has not yet been released, it's coming out pretty soon. Right now you will only find a demo version that contains the first 3 chapters of the game. That's also the version that I'm going to play in this video, so give it a try. I really don't want to ruin the satisfaction you will get from solving the puzzles yourself. And if you do try the game, tell me your experience in the comments. Now let's open the book and start the story. As I mentioned previously, the game is divided into chapters. In the beginning of each one, you will see the chapter number and title on the right, but more interestingly, on the left you will see a poem. These usually give you some insight into the chapter in 3 different ways. They will introduce the basic elements of the story, as well as the moral of the story. They might also contain hints to the puzzles in the chapter. The first chapter is called Awakening, and the poem that belongs to it is the following. Brought into a sleeping world, Kai felt displaced. One day came understanding, the word is right, and he stopped thinking for himself, a weight he would carry forever. When we flip the page, we find ourselves in the middle of a sunny sunflower field. Everything is calm and beautiful. A sleeping bird, our main character Kai, has woken up. He seems frightened and confused. And then he begins his journey. He finds a mouse with a flower on the top of his head. The mouse is thinking of grabbing something. This is marked by a sticker in a thought bubble. This is how we control the game. We can give the characters ideas by putting stickers in their bubbles. But first we need to collect the sticker from somewhere else in the world. We can see that Kai discovers a chest. We can put the grab sticker in his thought bubble to make him grab the chest. If we don't do that, he will never begin his adventure. When Kai grabs the chest, it chains itself to his wrist. It also shows him what he must do, take the chest to the castle. He tries to get rid of it, but he can't, so he accepts his situation and begins his journey towards the castle. When you reach a new chapter, the game gives you a bookmark. From this point on, you will be able to continue the game from here, and also replay this chapter in the future. The title of the second chapter is Rook and Clark, and the poem is the following. So it was, with ideas not his own, Kai walked the trails of youth, always arriving to his starting point. Comfort, grey and simple, never glancing over things past. Kai continues his journey. In the end of the previous chapter, we have seen the castle on the hill. Now, it seems like Kai has reached the hill, but his path is blocked by a pile of large rocks. Since the river seems impossible to cross, Kai thinks of climbing over the rocks. He is unable to do so, however, and now he needs to jump away from the falling rocks. All he can think of is to jump. We can of course also do nothing. In this case, we will get this message. Kai was crushed by a rock. Maybe he could have avoided it somehow. Notice that some of the text is in yellow. This is a hint. And don't worry, you can't really die in this game. Since it's a book, you can always just flip back to the previous page. We have to accept that we need to jump. It seems like if we do so, Kai ends up back on the riverbank. He'll meet a frog in a hat holding a pipe. The frog jumps away on the rocks in the river. When we flip the page, we arrive back to the beginning of the chapter, always arriving at the starting point. If we choose the same options, we will always end up here. I flipped to these 3 pages over and over again, and I couldn't figure it out. I read the poem again. I thought the last line, never glancing over things past, could be a hint. The game does that sometimes in the poems. It tells you what Kai didn't do. That's exactly what you should do. I tried that. I tried flipping through the pages backwards, but that didn't change anything. I even tried replaying the first chapter, in case there was something there that could give me a new idea sticker. But nothing. And then I realized, the frog. Why is the frog here? It's a funny character, but it doesn't really add anything to the story. Why is it there? Because it's a hint. You need to jump on these rocks to cross the river, but the game doesn't give me an option to jump, only to climb. But it does. It gives me the option elsewhere. On the next page. Yes, I can take this jump sticker, flip back, replace the climb sticker with it, and yes, I'm out of the loop. Kai does as expected. He crosses the river. In the end, we need to use the climb sticker. Kai pulls himself up to the riverbank, helps the small animal get to the river, and then continues his journey. He arrives at a broken bridge. We have no thought bubbles on this page, but on the picture of the bridge, there is an hourglass. When we click that, we'll see that the bridge has been broken by a dragon. But this is the end of the story. To find out how we got here, we'll need to flick back to the previous pages. I think it is best to tell the story from the beginning. There were two men wearing eyeless masks, who had a closed container with them. The skinny man had the idea of carrying it, but when they were on the bridge, his mount got scared and threw him off his back. The dragon was set free from its prison and destroyed the bridge. We can change his story by going back to the beginning and giving the carry sticker to the big man instead. This way the dragon won't escape and won't break the bridge. Kai will arrive at a perfectly intact bridge and is able to cross it. He continues his journey to the castle, but before we move on to chapter 3, we can see a shadowy figure standing at the bridge, looking at the direction of Kai. Chapter 3 is also available in the demo version, so as I said in the beginning, you will find a link to it in the description. And tell me what you think about the game. I think it's awesome. See you next time.